بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع هداه. The homework today was supposed to be Surah Al-An'am. Anybody read Surah Al-An'am? Ayah number 80.
Yes.
What's the ayah number 80? I forgot what it was. وَحَاجَهُ قَوْمُهُ. Is that the one, right? Yeah, وَحَاجَهُ قَوْمُهُ. So are you ready for... Because Maghrib is going to be in 20 minutes, so we could use this time and pray Maghrib. We could use this time wisely. So this lesson, if you are ready for it, is المد اللازم. عليكم السلام. All right, are we ready? All right, المد اللازم. Remember when we talked about المد العارض للسكون, what did we say about المد العارض للسكون? We said whenever there is حرف المد or حرف اللين followed by a non-original سكون, then we have this type of mad, مد العارض للسكون, or مد اللين العارض للسكون, right? The definition for a مد اللازم is very similar to this, except that this time it's going to be an original سكون. This is the difference. So the difference between المد اللازم and المد العارض للسكون is that one has a non-original سكون, and this one, المد اللازم, has an original سكون. The other difference is that the مد العارض للسكون, is it more frequent than the مد اللازم? It is more frequent. المد العارض للسكون is much more frequent. Why? Is because it happens a lot when we stop, and we do stop quite a bit. We stop at the end of the ayah. We stop maybe many times during the ayah. And it tends to happen when we stop. It doesn't happen all the time when we stop, but it tends to happen more when we stop. But the mad al-lazim is quite rare in the Quran. It's quite rare compared to the other types of mad. Let's start with the first example. From Surah Yunus, ayah number 91. So this is the first example, as I said, from Surah Yunus, ayah number 91, where we are interested in this alif here. So we are concentrating only on this part here. We have harful mad here, the alif, this first one, the first alif. And after the alif, we have a sukoon on the lam, an original sukoon. The reason I'm not talking about the second part is that the second part, even though it's similar to this part, but here we have a fatha, and if we stop, we have a non-original sukoon. So we are not talking about the second part. We're talking about this part where we will always have a sukoon on the lam, whether we stop or we continue, because it's an original sukoon. So here we have hamza followed by harful mad, the alif, and after this harful mad we have an original sukoon. And I'm saying it again, the mad al-arid lis-sukoon, we used to have a non-original sukoon, which used to happen when we stop. But this one, it doesn't matter whether we stop or not, we will always have this original sukoon. And therefore, the rule here is al-mad al-lazim. And the word lazim means we must. So we have to do it. How long is this mad al-lazim? It's the longest mad in the Quran, which is 6 haraka. 6 is the longest. This mad al-lazim cannot be shorter than 6. So it's 6 and only 6. Al-mad al-arid al-sukoon, we had the option to do 2 or 4 or 6. The mad al-tabi'i was 2. So this one, al-mad al-lazim, is only 6. So I have to make sure when I read a word that has a mad al-lazim to make it long. The common mistake here is that people don't make it long enough. People never make it long enough, the mad al-lazim. Except maybe, or most of the time in Surah Al-Fatiha. That's the second example that we're going to give in the word al-dallin. In the word al-dallin. Everybody knows in the word al-dallin, because we read it and we hear it a lot, and we know that it is long, right? So let's take it as the second example. And usually there is this symbol here that tells you that it is a mad, long mad. All right, so that's the second example, and again, we are concentrating on this part here, the middle part, not the end, because the end is going to be mad arid lis-sukoon. So we are concentrating on the middle part. Here, who can tell me a little bit about this, what we have here in front of us? We have mad al-lazim. What's the proof?
Because we have alif, it is harful followed by a mushaddada letter, which can be split into a sakin as and then
All right.
letter with fatha.
Inshallah, that's advanced. Yes. So for people who are new to Tajweed and they may not know about this, is that here it's a little bit different than the way it is written is a little bit different than this one. This one was pretty obvious, right? We had the alif, and right after the alif we had a written sukoon. So we cannot be mistaken that it's mad lazim. But here we have seen the alif, which is harful mad, but after it we don't really see a sukoon, a written sukoon. So the sukoon here is really because this lam, a lam with the shadda, is equal to 2 lams. This is equal to this. In any letter that has a shadda means that originally it was 2 letters. So if we have a lam with a shadda, that means we used to have 2 lams, and we compressed them together, and we put a shadda and the kasra that was here. if let's say I have a dal here with the shadda and dhamma on top of it, this is equal to two dals, one with the sukoon and the second with dhamma on it. If I have here a da with shadda and fatha, that means it's two da's, one with sukoon and the other one with fatha, right? So again, going back to this alif, which is harful mad, what do we have after it? We have a sukoon found here inside this shadda. So you may find in some books of Tajweed that the mad al-lazim happens whenever we have harful mad followed by a sukoon or a shadda. But it's easier to compress them both because they are the same. They are one and the same, into saying that a sukoon followed by a sukoon, an original sukoon. And this is obviously an original sukoon because this is how it used to be, and it was compressed to this. And the words that are like this are very few in the Quran, especially the ones that don't have a shadda, like this one. Very, very few words like this that have mad al-lazim. All right. Any questions? Yes. The first one we say, if I make the mad properly here, I say al-ana, al-ana. So I'm making the mad here, right? Al-ana, and I make sure I pronounce the lam, right? And here, obviously, everybody knows how to do this. Ad-dallin. And this is, as we said, mad al-lazim is always 6 halaka. Always 6 halaka. And what we mean by that, as a consequence, if I'm making the mad al-arid al-sukun 4, if I decide to make the mad al-arid al-sukun 4, as most people do, then this one has to be longer. If it's not longer, a person who is listening to you will know right away that it's not long enough. It's not long enough. Especially when I read a word like this. If I read a word like this, and I make this longer than this, it's going to be very obvious that it's wrong. Right? Or I read a word like this, and I say, al-ana. I make this longer than the first one. The first one is mad lazim. The second one, if I stop, it's going to be mad arid al-sukun. So it could be 6, right? But it cannot be shorter, it cannot be longer than mad al-lazim. At most, it's going to be equal. At most, the mad al-lazim and the mad al-arid al-sukun could be equal. But the mad al-arid al-sukun cannot be longer than the lazim. Meaning that the mad al-lazim cannot be shorter than the mad al-arid al-sukun.
The same text letter is a very big one, so it will be difficult for the reader.
Say again, Brother Ibrahim?
Like dhalin.
Yeah.
Dhalin make it 6 and the second one 6 will be long. So.
Yeah, if you make it 6 and 6, then it's good. If you make it 6 and 4, it's still good. But if you make the first one 4 and then the next one 6, it will show right away that it's wrong. It doesn't sound right. Because the mad al-arid al-sukun is not supposed to be longer. They have to be at most equal. Is it clear? Yes. All right. What we could do, the ayah the An'am, Surah Al-An'am, ayah number 80. I'm going to recite it now, and then you will have one more chance to read it again in case you didn't read it, because we were not really supposed to do the lesson today. So I'm going to read it and work on it again next week. So next week we'll do the reading first for this week, and then we'll do the new lesson and then read the homework for next week, which is supposed to be Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 31, and Surah Al-Duha from 7 to 10, which is written in your document, inshallah. Okay, Surah Al-An'am, ayah number 80. Al-An'am is Surah number 6. If you didn't find it yet, Surah number 6. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون. So in the first word, وحاجه, what is the rule in the word وحاجه? Yes, Brother Yahya.
المد اللازم.
What's the proof?
Well, there's a med with a sukun after it.
There is a mad, or you mean harful mad?
Harful med.
There is harful. Which one is harful mad?
The alif.
The alif. And there is a sukun after it.
Yeah.
Where is that sukun?
Well, there's a shadda, so there's two letters.
So it's deep inside the shadda.
Yeah.
All right. Do you agree with him? All right, that was correct. Jazakallah khair. What about the word atuhajjuni? It's a scary word. Yes, brother Yahya. It's the same thing.
Yeah, we have mad followed by shadda.
Which one is the mad that you are talking about?
The alif.
The one after the ha, the alif, yeah?
The alif followed by the jim.
Yeah.
The jim has shadda. Which means sukun.
So we have mad lazim there.
Lazim.
What else do we have?
Same thing in tuhajjuni, the waw, followed by the noon mushaddada.
So what's the rule there?
Mad lazim.
So what kind of wow is that? What kind of wow is that?
Waw al-mad.
Harful mad.
مش حرف.
What's the proof that it's harful mad?
followed or قبلها حرف ضمة.
So it's harful mad because before it there is a dhamma. Do you agree with him?
واو ساكنة.
Oh, all right. You missed it first. All right. So it has to have a sukoon and dhamma before it. Any other rule there? Yes, Brother Hanif.
If we continue, then we have mad tabi'i.
If we continue,
We have mad tabi'i. Otherwise, we have mad arif yasukun. And last, we have
are we talking about the same word, Brother Hanif? Yeah. So if we continue, we have mad arid lisukun or mad tabi'i. We have mad tabi'i if we continue. What about if we stop? Arid lisukun. Do you agree with him?
No.
All right. So so he retracted what he said. It is mad tabi'i whether we continue or we stop. So in both cases, it is tabi'i. What else? Do we have anything else in this?
We have nun mushaddada.
We have nun mushaddada that has 2 haraka on it, right? So this is one of the rules that we took at the end of level 1. Nun mushaddada, which is called the ghunna, and we have to put 2 haraka on it. And of course, a person reading this word may miss it because he already made enough effort making the first mad al-lazim and the second mad al-lazim, so he may, skip that 2 haraka there. But if you notice, that I made sure that I put 2 haraka on the noon.
Can you say it again?
All right, the word, if I say it again, قال أتحاجوني, right? So I have to make sure I put 2 haraka at the end on the noon. I shouldn't miss that one.
And you can't make me longer than that.
No, because it's mad tabi'i. It's mad tabi'i. Whether I continue or I stop, it's going to be mad tabi'i. There are some cases where the mad tabi'i disappears. There are some cases, and the case is right there in front of us in the next word, in the word fi. In the word fi, do we have mad tabi'i? We have mad tabi'i if we stop, because we have a ya harf al-mad, because it has a sukoon and before there's a kasra, so we say fi. We are saying fi. But if we connect it to the word Allah, we say fillah. That means we skipped harf al-mad altogether. We didn't make a mad there, so we skipped from the fa to Allah, fillah. And I don't think people have trouble reading this particular fillah. Most people don't have a problem with it, but the word tuhajuni is a challenging one, because you need to take a deep breath and make sure you have 6 haraka equal to the next 6 haraka, and then 2 haraka on the noon al-mushaddada.
Because the 2 حرفين مد متتاليين ساكنين فبالتالي الياء لا تنطق.
Say again.
في الله.
احنا لا ننطق الياء لان الالف بعدها والاثنين حرفين مد ومساكنين فبالتالي لا ننطق.
Yeah, I believe that's the reason, because the ya has a sukoon, and the next letter in the word Allah has a sukoon, so they drop the letter of mad. If it was a letter of leen, then the haraka will change to a kasra. If it were harful leen, but because it is harful mad, then they drop the letter. They'll drop it. Right? If it was harful leen, they will change the haraka to a kasra. Brother Ahmed, if you don't mind starting. Ayah number 80, Surah Al-An'am. Al-An'am is surah number, what was it again, 6?
6.
All right. Surah number 6.
What's going
No, actually, yeah, we have 2 Ahmeds here. You are after him. All right, go ahead, Brother Ahmed.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. Brother Ahmed.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وحاجه قومه.
How many mads do we have here in this word, Brother? Yeah.
Just one.
What kind of mad is that?
اسم الطريق.
Is it? Anybody wants to help? Brother Yahya?
It's مد اللازم.
All right, Jazakallah khair. How long is the mad al-lazim? 6 haraka. So we want you to make it longer than what you did.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
وحاجه قومه قال
قال أتو.
أتحاجوني
The noon, what kind of rule we have on the noon of أتحاجوني?
نون مشدد.
So how many haraka?
2.
2. You did only 1 on it. So try again أتحاجوني and make sure the mad al-lazim is longer, much longer than what you did.
أتحاجوني
The noon itself, not after the noon. Like this.
أتحاجوني
That's much better.
بالله وقد هدان
ولا
أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي.
أي, what is the rule in أي, in the noon of أن?
أن اسم ساكن.
What is the rule?
إدغام.
All right, how long do we make the idgham?
2 حرف.
All right, did you do 2 haraka? All right, we want it much longer. أي
إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خير. Brother Baghdad, go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان
One second. All right. It's better to stop after وَحَاجَهُ قَوْمُهُ for 2 reasons. Because you're going to need all the breath that you can have when you read أَتُحَاجُونِي. And also, it's not وَقَال. It's قال. Right? That wow, what is the wow there? Mad of what? Mad of what? قومه. قومه, there is a mad there if you continue. So if you stop, then you don't pronounce that well. All right. Brother Baghdad, if you stop, you don't say قومه. If you stop, you say قومه.
وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان.
Anybody can comment on the mistake that Brother Baghdad did or noticed something? Yes, brother. All right. Jazakallah khair. What else? Fillahi. What about it? Fillah, if he stopped, I think he probably stopped there. I mean, of course, you can try to finish that sentence so that you don't have to go back. But because you stopped and you went back, you went back to atuhajjuni, right? And we said that it's always better to go to qala. And this is, I mean, there is nothing wrong here in this particular sentence because it's the saying of Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So it's not wrong. But to put it into practice, if we stop, go back to qala. So to get into the habit of going back to the word qala. And the jim, the shadda was not very clear. Tuhajju, ju, right? The shadda on the jim. Try it one more time. قال أتحاجون.
قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان.
The second mad is not there at all. The first mad was okay. Atuha, and then ju. You didn't do this one, the second one.
قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا.
What's the rule in an yasha?
أن يشاء.
All right, that was a mistake that Brother Ahmed did, so you are not allowed to make the same mistake because he read before you. So ayyasha, it has to be long. Idgham, two haraka. Maybe because you were running out of breath, so you were trying to go fast. So we don't want to go fast and miss the rules. Illa ayyasha. All right.
إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. تحاجوني, review it again. The noon mushaddada, the timing was too short. The noon in وتحاجوني. All right, جزاك الله خير. Brother Hanif is not here. Brother Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. The jim is better now. We don't have to correct it. Alhamdulillah. The kha, Brother Baghdad did the same mistake. The kha is one of the strong letters. So we don't say akha, because if we say it like this, it's soft. If we say akha, so we say akha, akha. So the kha is one of the letters that are always strong. So we say akha, akha, not akha. All right? Jazakallah khair. Brother Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. ما شاء الله. Brother Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني
khair. Brother Sajjad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان.
Say it again. The mistake that you did is you said no. When you read the word atuhajuni, you said you made a mad after the hamza. So we don't say atuhajun. Atuhajun. قال أتحاجون.
قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا.
Repeat again from ولا أخاف.
ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما.
In the word Rabbi, what kind of rules we have in the word Rabbi?
The one that should be two thousand.
The mad طبيعي.
Yes.
Where? On the ya, and what's the proof for that?
There's a sukun and kasra before.
There's sukun on what?
On sukun on the ya.
And kasra before it.
Yes.
All right. Repeat again from wasi'a. وسع ربي.
وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
All right. When I ask you to repeat, as I said, this is to everyone, try to read it the same way as you read it the first time. Because when you stopped after reading وَلَا أَخَافُ مَا تُشْرِكُونَ بِهِ, the second time, you did something different. One of the mudud that you missed in the second time, you got it right, but then I forgot which one it was because you didn't read it the same way. Right? So we want to be consistent. Even if it is a mistake, when you are consistent with the same mistake, at least we know what it is and we can fix it. So we try to be always consistent. Jazakallah khair. Brother Yahya.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
Read again the first two words. وحاجه قومه.
وحاجه قومه.
We want the mad to be longer than that. Because that mad, you made it shorter than when you read atuhajuni. So we want it longer and we want it the same as the other ones. Alright? Jazakallah khair. Abu Yahya?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
Again, the word akhafu, the kha is strong. Akha. Akha. Alright? Jazakallah khair. Brother Slim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان.
You missed the second mad, brother Salim. أتحاجوني. Huh? You don't have a mad in the second one? All right.
There is no shadda.
All right. I trust you.
I listen to it.
All right. I trust you.
قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء.
Say again. Say again. I didn't hear it properly.
وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. Brother Salman.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وحاجه قومه قال تحاجوني بالله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا
يشاء
ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. In the word أتحاجوني, it was a good effort. The only thing that you could have emphasized more is the shadda on the jim. So the shadda means that you have to emphasize the letter on the jim and on the noon. So when you say أتحاجو like this and ni, right, you emphasize the letter. You didn't emphasize it enough, but it was a good effort on the mad. Jazakallah khair. Brother, going back on the top of the list, Brother Abdullah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني بالله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. Brother Hanif.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وحاجه قومه قال تحاجوني بالله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون.
جزاك الله خير. Brother Nasser.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وحاجه قومه قال
أخي Nasser, the jim, you still have a problem with the jim. You can talk to Brother Ibrahim. That's better. That's better.
وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان.
The jim, the shadda, as I mentioned to Brother Salman earlier, you have to emphasize it more. The shadda on the jim and the shadda on the noon. And on the noon, you have to make it longer because the noon with the shadda has two haraka. أتحاجو.
وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله
قال أتحاجوني
في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تذكرون.
Jazakallah khair. We want to review it, inshallah, the word atuhajuni. You did better now after you read it a second time. But you want to read it slow. You want to read it slow, and also make sure you emphasize the shadda. There is. You can say there is three, because there is the mad al-lazim, the first one, atuha, and then the shadda on the jim, and then ju, and then the noon with the shadda and the two haraka on it. Ni. Right, so we have to read it slow and emphasize all this. Yeah, I mean, you put yourself in trouble. You didn't. Everyone stopped after wahajahu qawmuh, and then take a breath and then continue. But he didn't stop. All right, jazakallah khair. All right. So again, next week we're going to speak about the next type of mad, which is called al-mad al-muttasil, the connected mad. And the homework is Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 31, and Surah Al-Duha from 7 to 10. Like a 3 4 ayat. Alright, Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallah wa hamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. We'll pray Salat al-Maghrib, inshallah.